I just finished intonating my bridge, and before I go ahead and open up the back cover to see what's in there, I'm just going to measure these pickups. So the bridge is a whopping 16.16. The neck is huge, 9.66. 16 and 9.66. That's yeah, quite a substantial output. So many windings. You can I changed my cable here so I could get a flat one, I should say a side angle one, so that when I want to pop up the guitar to see what's going on, and without having to unplug that, it works good. This light is out of position. This light is out of position. Come on. These squirrely ones. Yeah, that. All right. Let's see. What's under the cover? 3 screws. None on the ends. Somebody mentioned that. Full-size pods. Look at that. Full-size pods in there. It looks like it's a 47 chiclet. And it's not a box switch. There is a compound residue in the bottom. Indeed, indeed. Oh look, there's shielding on the back of this. I think they're cutting these from a standard stock these days. A lot of them are coming with shielding on the back, with no shielding in the cavities. And that's why I think they're just cutting them from a standard stock that has shielding on the back. Alrighty then, full-size pots, and they are 2-wire pickups. I do not see any 4 wires at all, and these are alpha pots. There's wax on them. Made in Korea. Alpha pots are made in Korea. Look at that. So we got a red one and a black one, and the ground for the bridge. And they are definitely 2-wire pickups. Okay. I just wanted to know that before I think about going any further on it. I checked actually. I got a little curious about how well it was cut here above the first fret. It's dead on 18 here, and the high E is actually a tad lower than 16 thou, and the other two, the B and the G, are 16 thou. It's cut for depth. Perfect. I'm beside myself. Now I also haven't done anything with the truss rod. Oh, looks like I might be able to get at the truss rod. Yep, a little bit of compound in there as well. Let's see how the truss rod feels. Can I find it? Where's it at? There it is. Down there. Alrighty. Loosey? Yep, it's very loosey. looks like it's about maybe just a tad past neutral. I'm feeling a lot of movement in the neck. So I would give it, see, this is where that comes in handy, that flatter one. I would give it a touch like that, give it a look. Again, that would be something I would do at the final to make sure that it's exactly where I would want it to be for the roof. Careful with the tools, Mike. Okay. Now that gets it a little bit flatter. I want to see what it looks like with the Gibson straight edge on the wood. It looks perfect. Almost. And that would be just about where the playing position is. Alright, so just for curiosity's sake, and what did they say? Chickens and giggles? Wiggles and giggles? I don't know. Oh, shits and giggles, that's what somebody says. I just wanted to give a quick check while I've got it in this position. Oh, a little bit of a bounce there on number 3. Yeah. Oh, Tony the trouble side. Wow. Yeah, that's like a Rocky Mountain one compared to the two on either side of it. Okay, so there's I think it was about 4. That's not terribly bad. There will be some fretwork. There's such a huge difference here between where the E and the A is, and then the D. I mean, these two are almost full forward, and this E is all the way back. Now you'd think that all the way back is where it should be, so close to there. It should be more like the middle, or just a bit, you know, past this one. And then the next one should be just a little bit past that one, similar to the way these 3 are down here. If I can get a better shot at that, like this. So, see the big discrepancy between where this one is and these are. They're way the hell up there. Should be looking more like those. Don't know what it is, but this is extremely unusual. But that's where it had to be to get them intonated. What did the other bridge look like? It wasn't intonated. Yeah, it was just preset in a somewhat similarly slightly staggered position, but oh yeah, because it was this way. But yeah, they weren't intonated at all. These are smaller engaged neck screws than I've ever seen. They must be like an 8. Yeah, without the plastic, it usually makes a harder impression in the finish. Oh, the neck pocket fell away very quickly. not. Oh, you see, I thought there was some kind of shim in there. And it's really crappy too. Look at that. Oh, it's just a piece of regular cardboard off of something. White on one side and just plain cardboard on the other side. I thought there was something in there. Now I saw somebody take a neck off of a blue one like this online, and it also had a small piece of cardboard about that big in it. I'm gonna have to measure that. Okay, so this is disappointing in a way, in that even less expensive guitars have the back of the neck polished all the way to the bottom. I mean, they didn't even try to do anything with it there. Didn't even try. Let's see what the pocket looks like on the other side. There is poly in here. Something else for me to vacuum up. It's smooth everywhere except this side here feels a little rough. See how she fits from the top. I wonder if it really needed that shim. So small. I guess it does if you want to have some control of height on your bridge, to have it angled back more so you can get this up more and shoot it down the neck. Well, we'll see. I mean, it had plenty of height on that skinny bridge, even without doing that. But now I've got a vacuum. Alrighty, I've cleaned up and moved the body to the other bench, which is where I do most of the body work. Its neck is not very heavy once you get that off, and once I take those tuners off, this thing's going to weigh almost nothing. I'm just wondering, okay, so I did this low E, and there's still some wobble. There's still some wobble. I don't know if it's because of the screws or not. I'm going to look back inside on this one first before I go ahead and do the other ones. Oh yeah, that screw just sitting in there, not even hardly doing anything. I've got to definitely fill these screws, and I'm going to put the glue in them tonight, and then tomorrow they'll be okay. What are we looking at? Oh, it's 11:20 p.m. Let me see if I can get this cover off again. Is it still okay in there? It seems to be. It seems to be. Would be nice if those washers were a little bit thinner, and there's not a lot I can do about that unless I toy with the idea of flat washers instead of the spring washer. I was really hoping the 8s would work because the 8s are much thinner, but apparently not. I was able to find some of these little brushes like this that try to run down inside those places that are hard to get to and clean out holes. Yeah, I think they'll work for a while. They're cheap. They're at the dollar store for $1.25. But I definitely want to get all these off right now. I want to plug them all up as I've done before. But of course they put an adhesive on these things which are ridiculous. I can't get the damn things off without leaving residue. And they're so sticky. So sticky. Just ridiculous. And they all do it. They all do it. They don't give a shit. There is a discoloration between the very end of the fretboard here with this part, which is looking shiny. And the rest of it's quite matte. And there's black stain that bled further in than just the edges. Not impressed with that workmanship of Epiphone. Not at all. I can say with definite conviction that this is not as good as a monoprice. What is that? Oh, look at that. It's a chip of wood that's been partially painted. A chip off it somewhere, I'm not sure where. Up inside the hole. That must have been jammed in there with a tuning peg. I wonder if they did that to try to make it seem a little bit more stable. Come on, guys. For the most part, you see the low E on this side is cleaner than the ones on that side. See if these little brushes will do any good after I spent a whole $1.25 on them. Yeah. Beautiful. Excellent. It was worth the $1.25 just for that one. That saved me a whole lot of time. Alright. I am not going to do any more taping at this point. I'm just going to, well, I'm going to get rid of that little chip. I'm just going to get out my bamboo toothpicks, cut them to size, and fill these holes with glue and get that done for the night. After trying a few ideas with washers that didn't really work, I found these little fiber washers that came out of the under the buttons of another set that came off of something, and it's just what I need, except that I have to open up the inside with my rat tail file like that, and I'm using the posts that I bought to fix Kramer but didn't use because they're a little bit nicer. Make that fit over? Good. Now the other thing is the worm gear. This piece at the bottom here is angled out, and when this gets under stress it pops out. So with my persuader, making sure that that is much snugger and flatter. Will not have a tendency to pop. Then we'll take that, and I found the problem is the distance between the body and this little collar that's right in there up to the top, and they're different. See, this one's taller, this collar, and that's where the body is supposed to be taking up that distance, but it's too thin. So this one is a little bit shorter, the collar, and that gives me the opportunity to put this tiny fiber washer on the top. I'm also using the gears that came with that because they're also nicer than the ones that came on the Epiphone. Same gearing ratio. Slide that in there. Yeah, okay. Alright, snug it down. Now that pushes it up against the space nice and tight, and then now we have a nice tighter gear. Way better. Now this worm gear is nice, there's no play in it. This one here is the worst of the lot so far. There is a quarter turn play in this worm gear, even though I've done all the things to it that I can do. Still a lot of play. So that's what I'm working on, putting the tuners together, and then I'm going to put my silicone grease in them and put the cases back together. My hands are dirty. The back of the neck turned out good here. I plugged the holes last night, so they're ready to go. They're ready to go. I should put this someplace where it'll be safer. And so, keeping parts from other projects helps you out sometimes. So I've completed the tuners. They're put aside while I'm going after these high frets. A little bit more down that side. It's been my experience that when you have some high ones down here, when you start getting up into this area of the neck, they come down and you end up with buzzing along the high ones up there. Especially since this one had a shim in the neck. I don't want to have the action so high to get over a high fret here that it's too high down the rest of the neck. It's very important that they are not high down here. And still it persists. I was able to tap this one down, and it did go down, so let me check it now that I've let it sit for a while, see if it came back up. No, it stayed down. What about this one? That one's still up a tiny little bit. I'm going to try tapping this one again. touch it. This one I might get away with. This one not. So 1, 2, 3 I have to file. That's not bad. That's not bad. And yet it persists. Just one spot. Where is it? Oh no. I think I got it. Clean off the top. Nope, still there. Right in here. Right in there. I tried tapping it, but it was so high there was just no way. It stood quite proud against the other two. Okay, hopefully that did it. Yes. Now it's okay. Alright, I'm going to finish up the rest of them and I'll get back to you afterwards.